I'm Army Sergeant Holly Jensen, and welcome to Cav Country. Today we'll take you to an Iraqi school, inside a raid at a meat factory, and into a firefight on Baghdad's Haifa Street. But first, let's take a look at some news briefs around Multinational Division Baghdad. At Camp Taji, north of Baghdad, the command teams from Multinational Division Baghdad assessed the progress made by the Iraqi Army. As the commanders watched from above, the Iraqi soldiers and the police worked in tandem.
Any time the police and the army are working hand in hand is a great benefit for this country, because there's a great rift between those two organizations. There's a lot of mistrust between them right now, and seeing them working together is not only good for the security forces themselves, but it's also good for the people.
Iraqi Army soldiers training in Mosul arrived in Baghdad and teamed up with coalition soldiers from the 2-3 Striker Brigade. The combined force worked together to clear the area known as Mechanic Street.
I've taken the Iraqi Army platoon/company that is clearing this block. They're pretty much clearing the right side as I take my platoon and clear the left side. And we're pretty much moving successively from south to north and doing the same thing on each side of the road.
Weber added that the predominantly Kurdish force is integrating well into the area. And service members in the country observed Martin Luther King Jr. Day through a variety of activities, including a fun run, skits, songs, and speeches. The footage you are seeing here is from Camp Liberty, where the guest speaker at their remembrance was 1st Cavalry Division Brigadier General Vincent Brooks.
That injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And I think we're reminded of that today. That's what we're here and fulfilling, seeking to bring an end to injustice. It was injustice that brought us here. Yes, there were other things that brought us here as well. Some issues that have never been found, some that were very clear. But one thing that was absolutely certain is there was injustice in this place. Significant injustice.
The Army traditionally celebrates Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a day on, not a day off. It was a busy week for Iraqi and coalition forces on Baghdad's infamous Haifa Street. I went out to the Kark district with the soldiers as Operation Tomahawk Strike 11 unfolded, and as soon as we hit the streets, it was game on. Deep in the catacombs of the Kark district, anti-Iraqi forces hide, waiting. As the sun rises over Haifa Street, they attack coalition and Iraqi forces. In an abandoned building, 1st Platoon Charlie Company, 1st of the 23rd Infantry Striker Brigade combat team sets up security. Their mission? Secure the area around them and take out enemy forces posing a threat to those on the ground.
Recyclable red thing in the window. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right below that.
At the corner? Okay, I see. If you peek your head up, Kish, yeah, there's a white building right here, right up to the left, and then you see how that wall right there, it goes brown right next to the white. See what I'm talking about?
At times it seemed like a game. Enemy fighters running the alleyways,
No, he's shooting into the right window.
getting lost in the cityscapes, trying to draw fire. This was no game, some would find out.
Son, you got him!
This was the second time these soldiers have fought on Haifa Street in the last 2 weeks. And most likely not the last. Until then, they sit, ready to take out the enemy whenever duty calls. And speaking of Haifa Street, brute force isn't the only tool at the Army's disposal for taking care of terrorists. 2nd Brigade's Army Sergeant Cap Kim takes us back to Haifa Street and shows us another method for giving the bad guys the boot.
The Haifa Street district is known to most of the people who live in Baghdad as one of the most feared districts to live and work out in. In recent months, it has been a hotbed of terrorist activity. So for the first time in almost 2 years, Iraqi Army soldiers and Iraqi policemen worked together to start evicting suspected terrorists.
It's a good mission today. We're trying to arrest insurgents and free the Iraqi people from them. It's good for both of us.
U.S. Army soldiers from the 4th Squadron, 9th Cavalry Regiment Military Transition Team act as advisors to the 3rd Battalion, 5th Brigade, 6th Iraqi Army Division.
Well, I will tell you, the MIT team, we work with these guys every day. We're out on the streets with them every day, ready to provide coalition effects as needed, to provide feedback on the operation.
and just to make sure that they're okay.
Taking back Haifa Street isn't easy. The police and the soldiers search street to street and room to room.
The Iraqi people are kept from defending themselves and are displaced because of the insurgency. The proof of this was in the apartment building we just searched. Every room was empty.
Not only are the combined forces of the Iraqi army, police, and the U.S. soldiers actively cleaning up the streets, but there's a larger long-term effect they're having on the neighborhood.
Well, for the people on the street, they see the American forces, the Iraqi army, and the police all together. It's great for them for their sense of security. You know, and hopefully they will open their arms to the police force as well as the Iraqi army.
From Baghdad, Iraq, I'm Army Sergeant Cav Country, 2nd Blackjack Brigade, 1st Cavalry Division.
Coming up, we'll take you inside an unlikely terrorist hideout and see what some Kentucky National Guard troops are doing to help Iraqi children. Welcome back. Now, you've probably heard a lot about different operations and raids taking place in the Baghdad area. Usually they're on homes and mosques or businesses. But the 10th Mountain Division's Army Private John Kano went out on a different kind of raid, an assault on a meat factory.
Soldiers of the 1st Squadron, 89th Cavalry Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, made a nighttime raid on a Baghdad meat packaging facility suspected of being a terrorist meeting site. Simultaneously, the 1st Battalion, 18th Infantry Regiment, 1st Infantry Division assaulted the salt factory a couple hundred meters away, also a suspected terrorist planning area. The two-pronged assault netted 6 detainees and more than 20 weapons. The 189 Wolverine staged at Forward Operating Base Falcon, with the 118th then rolled out under the cover of darkness.
We were coming in. Our main goal was to clear out the meat factory after the first unit of security. Come in, breach the doors, run through, make a lot of noise, everybody know we're here. It was good, we were all communicating really well. Yelling, make sure we knew we were all right. Went pretty well.
The factory was locked up for the night, and soldiers stormed the building methodically, breaking down doors and clearing each room despite the fact that they had been awake and working for many hours. In addition to the men detained in the operation, soldiers found money and bombs from various countries in one of the buildings and a cache of mortar rounds nearby.
Everybody did great. The motivation level was awesome. Everyone went in. Everyone knew where their buddy was. Nothing bad happened at all. We went in, got the mission done, and left.
The operation was an out-of-sector mission for 189, but should cut down on the improvised explosive devices in place on the roads in the surrounding areas. Reporting for the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division, from Baghdad, Iraq, I'm Private First Class John Kano.
And finally, I know it's said a lot, but it really is true. The future of Iraq lies with its children. Specialist Charlie Mabe went out on a mission with the soldiers from the Kentucky National Guard as they visited a school that has been overlooked in their area of operation.
How did you get to school?
Sometimes I walked, sometimes I rode bus. I rode a horse one day.
Most Iraqi kids just walk. Today, they're walking a bit faster than usual because they see soldiers at their school. Well, soldiers mean free stuff.
It doesn't really matter what you give them, they'll take anything you got, but we got pens, we got school supplies, we got everything we want for them. Trying to get them to learn how to speak English more when they see us, because I know they teach it here at the schools. It's just important for them to know that we're here to help them.
Although things such as snow and bomb threats routinely close schools in the U.S., the war in Iraq hasn't done much to slow down the education process. As long as kids get together, they're going to be taught, even in conditions like these.
The coalition forces give any people and the school supplies, but what we need is to get supplies from the Ministry of Education.
And that's something that hasn't been lost on these Kentucky National Guard troops.
I got little brothers and sisters about the same age, a little bit older. I mean, I bleed for these kids every day. It's my focus, my drive here is these kids. I'm a medic myself, and I do a little treatment here and there, cuts, scrapes, whatever I can to help them. But we could be here 100 years and not make a dent unless they want to help themselves.
For a war going on and so many children still being in school, that shows that a lot of these parents do care about the future of their children, which is a good thing.
Reporting from Baghdad, I'm Specialist Charlie Mabe, 1st Cavalry Division.